the most news in the morning. CNN's American Morning, weekday 6 a.m. Eastern.
Is there life on other planets? Scientists may be one step closer to an answer following the discovery of a planet much like Earth. Astronomers are calling their discovery a Goldilocks planet. Not too cold, not too hot, maybe just right to have water and sustain life, and just 120 trillion miles away? Joining us now from Philadelphia, Derek Pitts, chief astronomer at the Franklin Institute Science Museum. Not too hot, not too cold, maybe just right. And to use another metaphor, you say this gets us one step closer to the Holy Grail, which is?
The Holy Grail is finding life somewhere else out there in the universe.
How possible is it? What do we know about this planet, and could the conditions be ripe for life?
So, Christine, let's do this first. The first thing we have to say is that the probability of finding life somewhere else seems pretty high because of the number of stars and planets that there are throughout the universe. What we see in this particular planet, though, is we finally found a place that is closer to Earth in its size and its composition than any of the other places we found. And we even figure that there's a band of habitability on this planet where we can find water in a liquid state. And that's very important. You know, the front side of the planet is hot, the back side of the planet is cold, but right around that middle could be liquid water.
So the front side of that planet permanently faces its star. And so one side is warm, one side is probably cold. Do you think this middle line is where you would find perhaps life that has adapted to that zone?
Right, so this is the issue about this. When we look at these planets and we talk about one being too hot and one being too cool and this one being in the Goldilocks position, this means that it's a planet that happens to be in a zone where water can exist as a liquid. And since we base our investigations for life around the rest of the universe on the possibilities of liquid water, given that that's how life developed on this planet, then we look at this planet and that one little habitable zone, that area between the light side and the dark side, where there could be liquid water. And that then at least raises the possibility of an environment where life might develop, but we don't know if there's anything there yet.
Explain to me, a non-astronomer, to me this is very far away, but I'm told this is pretty close, actually. So where is this planet in relation to Earth?
Well, it's in the constellation Libra, which is a constellation that's easily visible in the evening sky, and it's 20 light years away, as you said, 120 trillion miles. But let's put some scale on that. There are stars in the evening sky right now, fairly bright stars, one of which is 25 light years away, and then another one adjacent to that that's 1,500 light years. But the most distant object visible with the human eye is about 3 million light years away. So when you look at it in that way, the 20 doesn't seem so far at all.
This story follows a story that was very popular with our viewers earlier this week, where you had a former U.S. Air Force personnel giving a speech or talking in Washington about what they think are UFOs, and then you have this new planet, newfound planet that we're talking about. What is our fascination with finding other life, and what do these two stories together mean to you, if anything at all?
Well, that's a great question, Christine, and here's how I see this. I see this sort of as two prongs of the human interest in finding out whether or not there's life someplace else. I think we want to know, philosophically speaking, because I think we have an inner desire to find out, to learn, to determine whether or not we are alone in this enormous universe. So when we look at these other planets, hunt for these other planets, looking for the possibility of life, that's us sort of going out to look to see. Then when we look at the idea of UFOs coming to the planet, I think that's also part of our desire, in that we think maybe they're coming here to find us too. So it's all wrapped around, I believe, this idea of, are we alone or not?
Do you think we're alone? And do you think, I'm just going to go right out on a limb and say, what about the UFOs? I mean, do you think that there could be intelligent life out there that has tried to find out more about us?
Well, again, if you look at this, if you look at the probability aspect of the number of stars and planets, it makes sense that there would be some other life out there someplace. And it would be arrogant of us to think that we are the only life in this entire universe. But the question of whether or not they've been here can only be answered, really, if we can come up with what we'd have to call extraordinary proof. It was Carl Sagan that said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. And so a claim like this while it is enticing and tantalizing and so incredible to think about, we need real concrete proof of their existence in order to go with that.